Welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Alex Colon and this is Dan Costa. And today we're going to talk about the top 3 news stories of the day, answer one of your questions, and show you one cool thing from the PCMag labs. So let's kick it off with the first news story, which is that the Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba on Tuesday filed plans to sell shares in what could be one of the biggest initial public offerings ever.
Yeah, this is one of the largest internet companies in the world, and almost no one in the United States has heard of them. In the tech industry, we know about them. In the financial industry, we've definitely heard about them. But this is basically the Amazon of China. But they're even more than Amazon because they own huge swaths of just the retail business in China. They own an online commerce site which offers just about everything, but they also have investments in wholesale platforms, in retail stores, in social media networks, in content delivery tools. It's amazing just how many things they own. They're really defining the shopping experience in China.
And there's plenty of room for growth there, right?
Yeah, 500 million Chinese are online on the internet right now, and they're using the internet to go shopping. There's a lot of room for them to grow. A lot of people are asking, like, when are they going to come to the US? When are they going to compete with Amazon here? I don't really see any reason why they need to do that right now. There's plenty of room to grow overseas. And I think that's where they're going to focus for right now. But I expect them to start making some key acquisitions because they're going to want to make technology acquisitions.
Right, so if it's a name that you're not too sure of yet, you'll probably hear about it more in the future.
You definitely will.
So let's go to our second story, which is that the Navy just announced an e-reader that's designed specifically for use on submarines. That's kind of interesting.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, look, we can't put our readers down, but it's a custom tool because it has to be secure. The Navy doesn't want everybody just using their iPads or their Kindles on submarines, so they created their own ebook reader, and it's called the NeRD-y.
Which, yeah, very appropriate name, I suppose.
The Navy e-reader device. I think it's a great name. You weren't so keen on it, but it's very cool. But it looks very, very stripped down, very basic. It's going to have no internet connection, no removable storage. It's going to come preloaded with 300 titles, and that's it.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some Tom Clancy, James Patterson, a lot of naval history. So, I mean, hopefully you like reading about naval history while you're on a submarine.
Why not? Why not? What could go wrong?
Okay, so let's move on to our third story, which is that the largest vinyl record manufacturer in the US, this is really interesting, they're expanding.
Yeah.
So how is that happening?
Yeah, everybody would expect it to be contracting, to be shutting down, but it turns out that vinyl is a growing business in the United States. United Record Pressing is adding a new vinyl press, and they're spending $5.5 million to expand capacity, and they are printing records 24 hours a day to meet demand. And the numbers are kind of shocking. In 2007, there were fewer than 1 million vinyl records sold, but last year sales rose to 6.1 million. And like I said, they're having trouble meeting demand.
Right, and I mean, I'm sure also a lot of people who are buying vinyl aren't necessarily buying new records. For instance, didn't you just picked up something, right?
Yeah, I just got a record player 2 months ago. My parents had a record player. I've never owned a record player before, and I've been going to the shops on the weekends and picking stuff up. And this weekend, I picked up Bruce Springsteen's The River for $1. That's a double album for $1. How can you not beat that? And it sounds fantastic.
And it's much more rewarding than downloading it.
I just want to own the album. I think owning the album defines who you are in a way that streaming music just doesn't. Streaming is just something you tune into. An album is something you own. I totally get this movement.
And there's a lot of cool innovation in vinyl too, like that new Jack White album that we were talking about.
Yep, I pre-ordered it on Amazon. It's basically a very high-tech record album. It actually plays from the inside out, and he's done some cool dual-track recording. He's hidden tracks underneath the label. Really tricked it out, and he says it's going to cost the same amount as a regular album.
Cool. All right, and now let's answer one of your questions. Lauren asked via email, I work at trade shows for a living and don't have many opportunities to charge my iPhone during the day. Any suggestions on how I can extend my battery life?
Yeah, we have this problem all the time when we go to trade shows and we're trying to stay in contact and get our phone to last throughout the day. It's a big problem on iPhone, it's a problem on Android as well. The number one thing you can do is make sure that you check your email manually. Otherwise, your email service is going to be constantly connecting to the internet and trying to get more email and download it in the background. That sucks up a lot of power. Also, the other thing you can do is actually turn off your connections. You can turn off your data connection, you can turn off Wi-Fi. You won't be getting any new information, but then when you want to transmit and you want to actually send stuff out, you turn it back on again. I mean, those two things will get you extra hours of battery life.
Yeah, another thing, you could update your software. Usually with newer software, there's improvements for battery life. And I mean, if all else fails, and especially at a trade show, get a backup battery or a battery case. I mean, you can never have too much battery on you, so if you don't mind carrying it, that's really one of your best bets too.
Yeah. For Android users, it's easy enough. I tell anybody that buys an Android device, get a second battery. You may not think you're going to need it. You will. That's easy enough. For the iPhone, it's harder to get a backup battery. Then you're going to need to look at something like the Mophie case, which will give you an extra 6 hours of battery life and are pretty inexpensive.
All right, now let's check out one cool thing from the PCMag Labs. And this is the Harman Kardon Onyx Studio speaker. It's a $399 speaker, and it's available exclusively through Sprint. It's a Bluetooth speaker. It sort of looks like a UFO. It puts out some serious sound. I think you have the specs on the...
Yeah, this is great. I mean, it's $400, and we sort of have to wrap our heads around the fact that you'll spend $400 for a Bluetooth speaker. Bluetooth has always been sort of the in the ghetto of the speaker community, and you couldn't get good sound out of it. There are plenty of speakers out there right now that actually deliver really good sound. So for $400, this could be your primary speaker system for your house.
It puts out some serious low-end sounds.
60 watts of power. It's got two 3-inch woofers, two 3¼ inch tweeters, and it's a great system. Really heavy on the low end. You could probably find a little bit more nuanced sound with some other systems we have, but if you like bass, this is a great solution.
Yeah, and this got 4 stars, and you could read the review on PCMag, and we'll be back again tomorrow.